I can hear my garbage people taking the garbage out right now. So, what a fantastic little intro. No song, just the sounds of sweet, sweet garbage being hauled through an apartment complex, banging on metal barriers, clunk, clunk, clunking down the stairs, being dragged by its taut drawstrings across dry pavement. Actually, it's not dry. We actually had a mini little thunderstorm. Dinner on my tooth. We are raw today. I am raw dogging this intro. What a 2 weeks? 2 weeks it's been. Y'all can probably hear the remnants of my last week still in my voice. My voice has been coming kind of doing ups and downs, and I've had good days, I've had bad days. But it's good. It's in recovery. We're in recovery at the moment. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Alone in a Room. Welcome back to another episode of Alone in a Room, starring me, Connor Lewis, as I sit all alone in a room. And today, as I was watching dinner, almost bawled my eyes out because I was watching, say it with me now, Black Mirror. I was watching Black Mirror, and I got this foreboding, ever so present feeling of existentialism with the direction that AI is going and how that affects us in our daily lives. And that shit was scary. And this is nothing new. Black Mirror is not a new show that has been around, but Lord, I had like just this overwhelming feeling of existentialism, much akin to the existentialism that was experienced during Edna St. Vincent Millay's poem Renaissance. Shout out to Renaissance. Existentialism sucks. It sucks because I started crying because I was so scared of repercussions of what AI could become. And I sound like a boomer. I sound like a fucking boomer. Blah, blah. All this to say, I know I had a friend when I was climbing in South Florida that worked in AI development for their company. And I asked them, what is a common or not so common misconception that people might have about AI? Because this was right when it started to literally skyrocket in everyone and their fucking mother and their parent companies and whatever is trying to incorporate AI into the workforce, a daily life, whatever. This was like that during that steep uprise. So maybe like 3 years ago. And something that they told me that I have to tell myself when I get that feeling of like, holy shit, this is kind of getting dystopian a little bit, is what people think AI is capable of, we are nowhere near in terms of development at that level. And this is definitely a reoccurring occurrence. Get with the program. God damn. This is definitely a reoccurring conversation topic that I've been having, eerily enough, because I was talking about AI with my climbing friends yesterday. Speaking of which, little side note, I don't know if anyone's always on my story. I'm now LEED certified in climbing. I can now legally dangle off a cliff by my own doing, by my own harnessing, and hopefully I don't die. But yeah, a little good thing that happened last week. We were talking about AI yesterday after climbing, and one of my friends was telling me that they had a conversation with ChatGPT on AI development and where AI is heading and what are the repercussions of AI increasing its own intelligence. And ChatGPT was responding with, eventually AI would begin to write algorithms for itself, to think for itself, and then in theory, in essence, start to like I said, think for itself and emote for itself. Which, holy shit, if I had heard this, or if I had had this conversation under the influence of an edible or under the influence of alcohol, I might have crapped my pants. I might have bought a gun and shot myself in the temple, because what the fuck? That's terrifying. That is so scary. And what I was watching, first I watched my favorite Black Mirror episode, which is Nosedive. Who's the actress that just farted? Who's the actress in Claire Dearing in Jurassic World? Claire Dearing, Jurassic World, actress who? Claire Dearing, Jurassic World, actress who is she? Bryce Dallas Howard. Great actress. She is the prominent character in Nosedive. And if you haven't seen this episode, if you haven't seen the show Black Mirror, it is individual episode. I don't know why I'm explaining to you guys, because I'm sure that everyone that is watching this right now has seen an episode or more of Black Mirror, or at least has heard of it. But for those who don't, because I'm inclusive. Because I'm an inclusive host, and I like to include party members that have no idea what the fuck is going on. So, in case I'm speaking to the two audience members that have not seen Black Mirror, the premise of the show is individual, separated, segmented episodes with different characters, different storylines that dive into the darker aspects of how technology is changing us as a society, particularly focusing on the negative aspects of it. In Nosedive particularly, it kind of plays on the idea of social media and how everyone is very fake online, and that kind of plays on the idea that everyone is fake through social media, but how that then transfers itself into day-to-day life. And in this said society, in this particular episode, people are fitted with these kind of like, yeah, think Google glasses, but for contacts to put on your eyeball, so it's always with you. And everyone is basically has a score, an average score out of 5 stars. And the richy upper echelon of society is 4.5 and above. 4.5 stars and above, while anyone that is below, say, a 3.5 is considered not a good person, or they're in some case dangerous or trashy or anything of the sort. And you kind of see this character who kind of floats between high 3, low 4 day-to-day life. And she works this corporate job, and she takes these very fabricated photos to then post online, so that she then gets 5-star ratings, because liking a post is this, like, everything, explain it, god damn, everything in this society, that every time you have an interaction with someone, whether it be through social media or in real life, both parties can then send a rating to someone, and a 5-star rating is like, what a great interaction, whereas a 2-star rating is like, this didn't add any purpose to my life, one character says. And before the character then takes the titular nosedive at the episode, you kind of see in the background this happening to another character, where someone in the office had recently broken up with his boyfriend, and everyone in the office is like, oh, Chris broke up with Devin, but we're all on Devin's side. We are not gonna like associate with Chris. And in the span of one day in the episode, Chris has dropped from whatever rating he was at. After post breakup, it was at, I think we see him at a 3.2, and our character Lacey is already like, Bryce Dallas Howard, Miss Bri girl. She kind of sees, oh, he's at a 3.2. How did that happen? Because he tries to bribe her with like organic green juice smoothie from the farmer's market that I made myself. And she's like, what happened? And everyone's like, we're on Chris's side or Dallas's side, whatever the fuck names I was using. And within the next day, she goes into work, and he's at a 2.4, and he's barred from entering the building because he doesn't meet the standard level of person that is needed upon entry of this building. And you kind of see how this plays in when people get canceled, so to speak. I think it's a symbolic for when people get canceled. Anyway, so this our character, she needs to raise her score to get a discount on a very hoity-toity apartment complex that she's looking to move into, and she's already being kicked out, so she's in dire need of this place. And a childhood friend of hers that was always a bitch to her, who's in the upper echelon, 4.5 and above, I think she averages like a 4.8, this best friend, invites her to be maid of honor at her wedding and give a speech. And if the speech goes well, all these high class, high rated people are going to be high rating her, therefore bumping up her score to get her whatever discount she needs on her apartment complex. So she is in desperate need of this speech, right? And there were tiny little micro inconveniences that bumped her score down just enough where her flight was canceled and she didn't meet the score requirement to be added on a standby flight. So she's going to be late to the wedding. She rents a shitty car because that's all she can get with her score rating. And hence the episode name, she keeps nosediving down and down and down because she kind of learns that being fake doesn't give you any internal satisfaction. Being fake doesn't give you any internal satisfaction. What really gives you that is being able to speak your mind and be yourself without the fear of other people judging you or anything like this. And I remember watching this when I was in high school, and the ending, spoiler alert, hey, I already gave away the whole episode, but spoiler alert nonetheless. At the end, she gives this crazed speech and she kind of speaks her mind about how much of a bitch her friend was and how her friend fucked Greg. Who's Greg? Don't know. You never know. But and she kind of ruins the wedding. And her score dives all the way like down to a 1.2, I think, or maybe like 0.9 was the lowest you see it before. Like it doesn't show that score, like the score anymore, because at that point it doesn't matter. And she's thrown in jail. And I thought the episode, when I was in high school, I always thought that the episode should have ended with this beautiful like swell of music, and she's kind of seeing dust bunnies fly in her jail cell, and she starts laughing to herself because it kind of is a little like, oh my gosh, like I feel so good. I don't have to keep up this persona. I don't have to keep up this this wall that I've built for myself just to meet everyone's standards. I feel good speaking my mind. But then the episode, the last like 2 minutes of the episode are her having an exchange with another prisoner about being like, I don't like your fucking mustache. I don't like your head. What cartoon did your mom have to bang to get, like, create you or whatever? And I always thought that ending was really weird, but this time I kind of had a newfound appreciation for it because it very much like the both of them were thriving on this roast that they were doing for each other. And it was very cute and symbolic of just say what you want. And maybe that's not what it meant. Maybe I'm actually really wrong because I can't even put words to it. Like it was just a beautiful moment of it exchanging of how they felt deep down, and they felt comfortable enough to say it. And they both, even though they both were screaming, fuck you to each other, like they both had these smiles on their faces and they were laughing at the digs that each one was taking against each other. It was a very beautiful moment. So watched that during dinner. Wasn't done with my dinner, so I moved on to the next episode. Joan is awful because why? I love Annie Murphy. I love, yay, David. Yay, David. Oh, yay. And again, I've seen this before when it came out, when it was like a huge, like, oh my God, have you guys seen Joan is awful, whatever, which is, looking back, scary because that was the whole premise of the show, was the characters inside the show. And I'm really going to get into it because I have to be inclusive. Connor, you have to be inclusive for your audience members that haven't seen it. I don't want to because I'm going to get scared. I'm going to get scared talking about it again. So the premise of Joan is awful. We're moving on to episode 2. We already finished Nosedive. Okay, go to the bathroom, get a snack because I'm moving on to episode 2. Joan is awful follows this woman, Joan, played by Annie Murphy, in her normal day-to-day life, and she has to fire someone at her job. She meets up with an ex, even though she's already engaged to someone else, and they share a kiss at a bar, but she kind of was like, no, this is wrong. I shouldn't be here. We have to go. I have to go. And she sits down one night to have dinner with her fiance, and they're like, oh, what you watch on Streamberry? Streamberry is Netflix. In this universe, Streamberry is Netflix, which is weirdly dystopian and meta. Not dystopian, but it's weirdly meta of Netflix to do this. But they encounter this show called Joan is Awful, which, hey, that's the episode that you're watching. And they're like, what the heck? What is this Joan is Awful? She has the same like specific haircut, same outfit as the Annie Murphy Joan, but this Joan is played by Salma Hayek, and it's dramatizing the events of the day that you just witnessed. And Annie Murphy Joan has this panic attack, and she's like, oh my fucking God, like everyone's gonna see this, like everyone's gonna see, like, because it's all dramatized, it makes her out to be more awful than she actually is, and it makes her seem like this stone cold bitch and the blah blah blah. And she's like, everyone's gonna see this. My mom was watching. The girl that she fired early in the episode was watching it at the bar. The ex that she met at the bar was watching it on the toilet, which was hilarious. And the show is kind of basically creating content that was her life and the worst parts of her life, but portrayed by Salma Hayek, someone a little bit higher up. And as the events of the show go on, she loses her job. Whatever she says in therapy was exposed. Private, intimate affairs in her life were then exposed for the masses to see. And she literally can't take it because everyone looks at her very differently now. So she was like, all right, I'm going to get back. If I can't get back, she can't sue Streamberry in the show because it's all written in the terms and conditions when she signed up for Streamberry. When she signed up as a user of that platform, of that streaming service, in the terms and conditions, it tells you, we reserve the rights to use your face, your life, your private affairs, all of this to create deep fake content of your likeliness. And this is the part that's like, it's so real, because who the fuck reads the terms and conditions? Not I. I don't. Let me hear it. Who reads the terms and conditions? We don't. Who reads the terms and conditions? We don't. When I say ye, you say ha. Ye, ha. Ye, ha. When I say ye, you say ha. I didn't say fucking ye. What the fuck? This is the part that, like, this episode in particular makes me feel deeply, I think, the most uncomfortable out of any Black Mirror episode. And I'll say that with my chest. It makes me feel the most uncomfortable because it's so real and so scary. But bringing it back in, Annie Murphy Joan, she takes a dump in a church, and she like chugs a bunch of burgers and laxative, and she times it to where she goes, interrupts a wedding at a church, and like basically takes a dump right in the middle of the aisle, and she gets arrested, but she's like posted bond, whatever. And so Salma Hayek shows up at her house because she's mad that Annie Murphy Joan is tainting the image of herself, Salma Hayek. And it's Salma Hayek plays herself in the show, which is really funny. And she shows up at Joan's house, and Annie Murphy's Joan is like, oh my God, what the fuck? And so Salma Hayek and Joan team up to destroy this quantum computer that Streamberry uses to make these deep fakes. And they kind of realize that their reality, the Annie Murphy Joan, isn't the real Joan. Source Joan is doing her own thing, and Annie Murphy is playing Source Joan in Source Joan's Joan. What the fuck? It gets so convoluted, but like, you know what I mean? There's Source Joan, and then the TV show Joan is Awful that Source Joan is watching is Annie Murphy playing Source Joan. In the show, because Source Joan is watching Joan is Awful that goes throughout her day, in Source Joan's universe, Annie Murphy's Joan is following Source Joan, so she then is in turn watching Salma Hayek's Joan, and Salma Hayek's Joan is watching Cate Blanchett's Joan, and just so on and so forth. But that's like the extended universe that we get is 1, 2, 3. We know of 4 Joan realities, because it's like when you like hold up a mirror to itself and you get those like, what? It's like just like a never-ending cycle, basically. And she's poised to, again, spoiler alert, she's poised to destroy this source, like this quantum computer, and the person that created it is like, if you destroy this computer, you will destroy infinite souls and lives that believe that they are the real Joan, that they are the source Joan, that have no idea what the fuck is going on. And you're like, do you want all that blood on your hands? And Annie Murphy has like this moment of existentialism of like, I'm not, what the fuck do you mean I'm not the real Joan? Like, I am feeling all these things, you know? And it's very convoluted and meta and like very, very scary that AI can fucking do this. And oh God, I'm getting scared all over again, and my heart is kind of racing. So I think I should move on. But AI, to wrap it all up, AI scares me, and I don't really want to fuck with it. But like in the sense of, I don't want to be. I kind of would. I don't want to say I want to be a bystander for it because that feels somehow worse. But there is this growing terror around this concept, but I have to remind myself, because what we think AI can do and what AI is capable of, when you actually use it, it's dumb as rocks. It's dumb as shit right now. It seems smart because it's this new pristine idea that we have no idea what, like, we as a society don't really know what to do with it and how to incorporate this. But when you try to like use it, you're kind of like, I felt so like yucky with myself because I had an interview and I hadn't heard back from the interview. So I sent a follow-up email saying, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really hope to hear back. I know it's been a while. Just want to check and see where you are with the process. Never heard back. So I had then sent a circle back email to the follow-up email to the interview. You with me so far? And I couldn't quite figure out the vibe that I was going for, the best way to word it where it didn't seem as aggressive but it was still polite and respectful of everyone's time that's involved. So one of my coworkers was like, oh, like ask ChatGPT to give you like a format. And I was like, oh yeah, I've never used ChatGPT to write an essay. It became very, very popular for people to use ChatGPT my senior year of college. And to me, if you're writing a school essay or a paper and you use AI to write your paper, what the fuck? Like, just write the fucking paper, learn the fucking material. It actually made me like very irritated when everyone's like, oh, I use ChatGPT to write my essay for you. Then what the fuck are you doing? Why are you paying money to do this? Why are you paying money to be in school? And I feel very disheartened that a lot of students in schools now, especially in middle school and high school, are using AI to write their things and to do their homework and to do their work for them, because it's actively deteriorating what kids are capable of and the amount of education that they will receive and the take back of what they get from schooling. So I used AI for the first time to do something for me, and it was to compose kind of like a format for this is the vibe I'm going for and yada yada yada. And it felt, of course I like edited it because what it gave me didn't sound like a person. It sounded like AI. And I was like, well, obviously I wasn't gonna just copy paste it. That's stupid. But I like changed it up and kind of was like, oh, I kind of like this word that it used and whatever. I didn't really use full sentences from it anyway, but I used phrases and specific wording. But after I sent the email, I was like, ew, I just used AI to write an email. And I felt so yucky about that. It felt so cringe and felt like I was like, dang it. It felt fake and artificial, as the name artificial intelligence implies. So this is just something I was telling my friends that I know myself, I'm a habitual person, and I don't want to make a habit of writing or using AI I don't want to use AI to substitute what my brain process is capable of. You feel? Do you feel? Do you feel good? Ik ben een conferencier juist si va te compare. I am your host. Holy shit, I love cabaret. This is gonna be another time. I love cabaret, in cabaret, oh cabaret, to cabaret. And I've been deep in the throes of cabaret from cabaret. Life is a cabaret, oh chum. There is something about a mental breakdown song from musical theater that really gets me. If I need just like a cathartic scream, I'm putting on the breakdown songs in the shower. What are some of the top ones that I'm listening to? Obviously, right now, Cabaret from Cabaret. Desiredly, what I desperately love about that is it makes me feel good scream into a song and not have to worry about, do I sound okay? Is it detrimental to my voice? 1,000%. Did I think I lost my voice because I've been screaming cabaret from cabaret? 1,000%. Because the ending verse of it is like a full breakdown. The character of Sally Bowles has known nothing but performing her whole life. And she just has to keep doing this in the darkest of times in Nazi Germany. And she kind of is reminiscing on why she started and why she continues to do it now. And it's the showmanship, it's this act that she's putting on. And I don't think she's okay with it anymore. And it's really eating her alive, the fake smiles that she has to do. And this is from my bare knowledge. Fun fact, even though I say I love the show, I love the music, I haven't seen the show all the way through. I don't really know the entire plot all the way through, but this is my gathering of just listening to the song and people's interpretations of it and stuff. But I think what I love most is it's so cathartic and it's so guttural that I don't have to focus on the notes and sounding good. And the other night I was listening to it in the shower and I was not even in the shower. I had finished my shower and I was staring at myself in the mirror and just start by admitting from cradle to tomb it isn't that long a stay life. Drooling at the mouth. I'm not even saying that to exaggerate. I had drool coming out of my mouth into the sink because I was leaning over the sink. And it's one of those moments where you get so into the song and the character that you kind of lose yourself. You lose like oh, my name is Connor Lewis. I'm actually just like standing in my bathroom singing. Like I just felt all the emotion and everything. And this sounds cringe, but I felt like I like truly like understood the guttural emotions, which I guess this is just acting. And maybe that was one of my most successful acting feats was in my bathroom and the mirror, just screaming at myself. But it felt so cathartic. And I wanted to talk about what my favorite breakdown songs were. Just off the top of my head, we're gonna go Cabaret. Then we're gonna go Flowers from Hadestown is a fantastic breakdown song. Break it down. All You Want to Do from Six, love. And that's like a different kind because like you kind of had the whole story build up of Anne Howard. No, not Anne Howard, Catherine Howard. You have like the whole build up of her story and how she was sexually mistreated her entire life until it finally got to her and she broke down. All You Want to Do, the I Love You song from Putnam County Spelling Bee, the I Love You song from Putnam County Spelling Bee, that is, that's really sad. I remember seeing this one bootleg of, it was local theater. I don't know if it was local professional or high school theater that was doing 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. But for those of you who don't know, as the name implies, it's a musical about a spelling bee. And there's a character in it, Olive, whatever her last name is, and she kind of gives off just like this depressive, like awkward, aloof girl. And in this in this show's interpretation, the girl that played Olive, whenever she would spell, she'd hold her, we'll set the mic down, she would hold her arms as such. And she would spell into the microphone like this. I'm talking extra loud, but I don't know how much of the gain it's she would talk into the microphone like this and spell with like her arms up here and clenched. And my friend and I that were watching all these bootlegs together, we were like, why is she doing that? That's like that's a choice. Wonder why she's doing that. Maybe like will it be elaborated on? I don't know. In the I Love You song, which is one of the later songs in the show, it's the song that focuses on Olive and what's going on in her head. Or it's actually the second song that goes on in Olive's head. And she's envisioning her mother who abandoned her family to go on some spiritual retreat in India, but has been gone for well over what she said she was going to be gone for. And she doesn't write to her family. She doesn't do anything. But Olive is creating this fantasy of the mother saying, baby, I love you. I'm sorry that I'm not here. I wish you were in India with me on this spiritual journey. And it's called the I Love You song. And eventually her father joins in and she's saving a seat at the spelling bee for her father, but he never shows up. He doesn't even come to the spelling bee to support her. And so he joins in the fantasy on saying, I love you. And it's Olive's inner grief that her parents don't really care about her. She feels that her parents don't care about her. And at the culmination of the song, the trio kind of sing, I love you. Hey, I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry that y'all have to hear that. Like I said before, my voice has been gone in waves and it's still in recovery mode. So at the end of the song, she spells the word that she's assigned at that point in the spelling bee, and the word is chimerical, which the song starts off, actually, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the song. The song starts off with her getting the word chimerical. She asks for a definition. And the proctor of the spelling bee, may I have a definition? It means unreal, wildly fanciful, highly unrealistic, to which then the song starts, implying that this whole fantasy that she's created, highly unrealistic, wildly fanciful, it's not real. Her parents don't love her. That's what's implied. And at the end, you kind of are enthralled by the beautiful runs and the harmonies of this trio. And there's a big like culmination, a big like build up to, and then it finally cuts. And the parents in the adaptation that we were watching, that we were like, why is she doing this? During that big moment, the parents put their hands on either end of her shoulders, and she grabs the hands of the parents and spells chimerical, chimerical, highly unrealistic, wildly fanciful. Oh my God! Theater is crazy. Some people got vision. That's so Raven, it's the vision I can see. That's so Raven, it's not mysterious to me. Sobbing. Hey, sobbing my eyes out. So, the I Love You song, fantastic breakdown song. Another one that I love. I Give My Life For You from Miss Saigon. Bet your bottom dollar I'm on my knees talking to this 3-year-old child that doesn't exist. Not my child, but I see this child in my mind's eye and I say I would gladly give my life to make sure that you live. Love that. Love that. I mentioned Flowers from Hadestown. Hero from Ghost is a great one. That's more like a self-empowerment song instead of like a full breakdown. What I Did for Love from Chorus Line. I could go on and on. Burn from Hamilton. Sonia Alone from Great Comet. Okay, you guys, here's the Great Comet reference without me talking about it for the episode. Check mark ding. Oh my God, no, oh God. I had to get up close and personal with you guys for this one, because not only is Sonia Alone from Great Comet, but you also got to get into In My House, Maria Dmitrievna getting pissed drunk, mad at Natasha. That's source one of me losing my voice any given moment. If I lost my voice, bet your bottom dollar I listened to that song within the last few days. I had to do a lap. I really just got up and I had to do a lap after that one. Ooh, in my house, and Sonia Alone, love. I did Sonia Alone for my final studio song when I was in college, and I ate. No crumbs. 4 plus 4, 8. Alrighty, so to go back to what I was saying before that I never really touched up on, yes, rumors are true because I confirmed them last week. I have been sick. And it kind of, the timing worked out very, very well. I was working at a store that I don't normally work at. And the night prior, I was on Discord with my coworkers, and I was on Discord with one of my coworkers specifically, and I felt like a little tickle in my throat, so I like a few times, and I was like, that feels weird. I'm just gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go take a Zicam. I'm gonna get some, I have these like immunity pills with elderberry. I don't know what's in them. I actually don't know if they're vitamin C or just some kind of, well, they're right here. Let me read them off. Not sponsored, by the way. Immune 24-hour plus the only vitamin C with 24-hour immune support. I don't know about that. Plus vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and echinacea. Echinacea supports upper respiratory health. Those things are kind of crazy though. But so I took 2 of those and I took a Zicam and I sat down. We were playing Wizard 1-1. 30 minutes go by, 45 minutes go by, and I start coughing. And I'm like, wait, let the preemptive medication do its thing. You didn't give it time to be preemptive. I showed one symptom and then suddenly I got down bad. It hit me so fast, you guys. It was so insane. The next day I was at the store that I did not want to be at. I'll be transparent with you guys. Did not want to be at that store. And I worked from opening and then like during peak, I was like, I don't want to be here. I was wearing a mask. My nose was running and I was like, I pulled the shift supervisor aside and I was like, listen, I can feel myself like going downhill. So do you need me? Like, can I please go home? I'm not one to ask to go home early. I'll normally just stick it out, but I don't feel good. Mostly because I didn't want to be at the store. And she was like, oh my God, yeah, like don't even worry about it. I'm sorry you're not feeling good. And I was like, no, I'm sorry to like leave you, whatever. As I was leaving the store, I was like, But I happened to have 2 days off after that. And then I worked Easter morning at my store. Still got sent home early. I worked a 5-7-5 shift basically, but still got sent home early. And then I had another day off, and then the following day, I had most of the day off and then just a 2-hour meeting afterwards. But the timing couldn't have been better because I was just sick that entire time. And I had many days to recover. But the only like lingering effect now is this voice problem. Is I don't even know how long I've been talking for. It's been under an hour and my voice is already starting to like... At game night last night, I left there with raw voice, like raw, rah. Actually just threw up in my mouth a little bit about how awful that was, so deep apologize. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in this room right here in the last few days, just feeling gangrous, unmotivated, like not doing much. Hey all, post-production Connor here, and this next little minute of the episode is when I just get so distracted because, frankly, I got bored of hearing myself talk. So enjoy this next little sped up clip of the episode. It's sped up 8 times because that's how long I just went on my phone. I went on TikTok. I did some scheduling things with work, and it's crazy. I actually will laugh about it in just a minute about how absurd this little nonverbal stint was. But for the time being, enjoy. I just got so bored. I literally just lost my mind for a second. I got so distracted and I was like, oh, I'm so bored and I don't feel talkative. But I also felt like I had to talk about AI. I felt like I had to talk about the downfall of society because of AI. And then after I finished that, I had no more to say on the topic, so I got bored. I got so bored, you guys. That was crazy. Oh my god. And then I started talking about being sick, but then I was like, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody wants to hear this. What the fuck? Anyway, so because I was sick, I had a stuffy nose and I had peppermint. I have like a little vial with an eyedropper in it for peppermint with, it's like peppermint oil. Yeah. Yeah, it's peppermint oil, and whenever I get like stuffed up or like stuffed sinuses, I just put a dab here and a dab here. So like, I'm always breathing in the peppermint oil, and it's opening up my sinuses, right? Because I like lost my train of thought, I was looking at my little notes on just like topics to talk about, and this one just says, it just says peppermint in the eye, bug in the toilet. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, what? So, the story behind that was I was going to put like peppermint underneath my nose, and while I was putting it in there, I just saw like in my peripheral vision just like a little bug crawl up the side of my toilet, and I went, ugh, and I flushed the toilet. Didn't even see what kind of bug it was. I don't know if it was a silverfish or a cockroach, but that bitch got whisked away. And I don't know, I feel like when I wrote that down, I had something like more to elaborate on the matter, but I guess I don't. I guess it wasn't important or whatever. Anyway, so put a dab here, brush my teeth, put in my retainer, go to bed. And my eye itched. So what do with my little peppermint-ridden finger? I go like this. Stupid. Because then my eye burned. For the next like 25 minutes, it had that cold burn that peppermint gives you when like, I don't even know how to describe it, but there was peppermint in my eye and a bug in my toilet. All right, well, I guess this is going to be a hyper short episode because I just don't really have anything else to talk about. Love you, kisses. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you guys next time when I see you, and mayhaps I'll have a full voice next time. Good night, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to this nonsense of an episode. What the fuck?